What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the FallenRedZeo. I'm here today with a new Diamond Select Lord of the Rings action figures. So these are figures I've been super excited about because I absolutely love Lord of the Rings. One of the franchises I love and like to collect stuff from. So this is the first wave they released, which is really cool. And of course, two of my most favorite characters from Lord of the Rings. We have Gimli the Dwarf and Legolas the Elf. And these just look awesome. They look really good. The Legolas, which I get to when I'll do the reviews, has something that's a little disappointing. So I'll point that out. But these just look awesome. And we're getting them two at a time. So each wave we're going to get two figures, and each of them come with Build-A-Figure parts for a big Sauron. So we're going to get a Sauron. There's like his head there. We got his legs and stuff that come with Legolas, and we can see a picture of him right down there. So it's going to be awesome to build a Sauron. I think he's supposed to be like 13 inches tall or something, so it's going to be pretty big. It's going to be awesome to compare it to these, and especially we'll see the difference between the two sizes here, where Gimli's a dwarf, so he's going to be much shorter than Legolas, so that'll be awesome. But I've just been so excited for the set. I can't wait to look at these figures in hand, and there's a look at the back so you can see the two characters there, and then our Build-A-Figure of Sauron there. So that looks pretty awesome, and it does say the Sauron's going to be 13 inches there, so you can see somewhat the height difference they have there already. So I'm super excited for these figures. I can't wait to get them open, so let me open them and we'll check these out together. So we're starting off with Gimli here, and he looks pretty great. There are some issues I have with each of these figures that I will point out, but overall I do think he looks pretty great. It looks almost identical to Gimli from the movie, so that's pretty great. So we gotta look at his face there. So his face, of course, based off John Rhys Davies, and I think hard to tell because he has the beard and the helmet and all that sort of stuff, so it's hard to tell it's him, but I do think the face does look pretty good overall. But he has the nice long brown beard hanging down. I like how he has all like the little gold pieces and jewelry and stuff there in the beard as well. Nice dwarven style helmet there, you can see with all the details all the way around his head. His hair in a ponytail hanging down the back with more of the gold there. Then he's in his all dwarf armor, so he has the chainmail on underneath, armor paddings there up on his shoulders, brown leather gloves coming down there covering his hands. Then he's got the brown leather tunic, hangs all the way down in like a skirting material down to his knees, has a belt around his waist with a nice dwarven logo there on the buckle, and again the shirt comes all the way down, and I like how it transitions to that darker brown with the quilting texture into it there. Underneath he's got some brown legs. It's just pretty all solid color. It's nice under the outfit, the like texture and everything of the outfit underneath there. Then he's got the dwarven boots again with all the details. I would assume by the way they look probably metal, but they could just be a nice leather, but you can see a nice heavy looking design with all the details and everything going all the way throughout again with that dwarven design. Looks awesome. And around on his back, a part of his belt, we do have like a little blanket or whatever, and then some pockets there for holding stuff. But you can see around on his outfit, we have the metal circle there on his back, one there on the side of his waist, and then we have a holster here on the opposite side. Well, for those I assume they'd be for holding his axes, since he does come with 3 axes, you know, it'd be 3 different holders to hold them. But unfortunately, like these, they don't move at all. So if like you could move them up, like, you know, have them sticking out perpendicular, you'd be able to like slide an axe down into it. And same with like the one here, those don't do anything. They're just kind of sitting there. So you can't put any axes there in there for storage and stuff. So the only one you can use is this pocket here. And then I've tried sliding the axes into it. I don't know if it's just my figure's wrong or what, but it's wider at the bottom than it is the top. So it's harder to get it down in there to be able to slide down. So you have to kind of fight with it just to be able to store some of his weapons. So again, that's one of the major issues I have with this figure, is he comes with all the axes, but he only has 2 hands to be able to hold axes. So it's like you need to be able to store somewhere else. So it gives you that extra pocket, but then it's hard to get stuff in there when you have these other pieces where they easily just slide right in and be able to hang where they should and everything. But unfortunately, they just kind of molded them down so you can't use them at all. But for the figure's movements itself, its head can twist a little bit side to side. Again, with the beard and stuff, you don't really get a whole lot of range. And then again, for like rocking, you just rock back and forth a little bit there. But the shoulders can come up a little bit, and the armor is kind of clashing with each other, so you don't really get a move more than that. And then you can rotate them all the way around. We have a bicep twist right in there, a single elbow joint that bends to 90 degrees and has a little bit of rotation, and then we get the wrist that can twist around and flex back and forth. No real ab crunch, but he does have some movements at the waist, so again, just a little bit of rocking back and forth, but he can twist side to side at the waist as well. His hips can come up a little bit, but again, with the outfit and stuff, you don't really get too much, but you can get him to twist out to the side a little bit there, up to 90 degrees, and out to the side a little. He does have the thigh twist that can twist all the way around, but I'm a little bit worried about the hips up in there, just the way they're designed. I'm afraid I'm going to break them or something because they're a little bit like looser. And then we get the knee joint that bends up a little bit there, maybe like 45 degrees, not much bending at all, and then there is no twist in the knees. And then we have the feet that are real stiff, but they can rock back and forth a little bit there and can twist side to side. So as I pointed out, some stuff, not the best built figure ever, but it does look really good, and it does look like Gimli, so I couldn't ask for more than that. You know, it's just I wish they had things a little bit better, maybe some better joints, and then the ability to hold all the axes. And speaking of, we got some accessories, so to be able to hold the axes, we get some grip hands here. So we have 2 grip hands, since he has two like open style hands, which I don't really know why he needs open style hands, because it doesn't hold anything but axes, so we need the grips. But then as I said, he does come with some axes. So first off, we have his bearded axe, as it's called, which is kind of a funny name, but all the axes looks pretty much the same. Have brown wood handles. Of course, you can see all the wrappings there around for the actual handle part, and then nice gold detailings, and then the silver blades themselves, which look pretty awesome there. So again, this is like the bearded axe, so it's like just a smaller style axe. And then we get like a battle axe, or it's called like a walking axe for him, because he uses it to walk, because you always see him like with his hand on top of it here, and then he uses it to walk, and then it's also an axe itself. And this is like a cooler looking axe to me. It reminds me of like a rhino with like the horn coming out, but again, the all brown handle, again with the wrappings there all the way around, gold at the top and bottom of the handle part, and then gold at the top as well where the blade is attached to it. So it looks pretty awesome there. So these are like the two axes he uses when he like dual wields his axes together, and so that'll be awesome. I'll put these in his hands. So there we got Gimli with the two axes there, and that looks pretty awesome. So we see him use two axes quite a bit throughout the movies, but then he also does use a double bladed axe. So we get this, and this is an axe like he picks up in Moria, so he uses this axe as well. And again, this would be a good one to be able to put into his back. So if we had that hole there, we could just slide it through and hang on his back, but all we have unfortunately is this one here. And again, it's such a big thing, and it just trying to get it in there doesn't work too well. And I'm afraid I'm going to rip this up, but that's like as far as I can really get it down in there to stick like that. So again, you see it doesn't really work out too well, but we can go and try and put this in his hand. So there's what he looks like with the double bladed axe in his hand, and that looks pretty cool as well. So again, I do like the figure overall. There's just little things about this figure I wish that could have been tweaked and could have been messed around with a little bit just to make it a little bit better, but overall I can't complain too much because it does look so great. And we obviously won't be building this for quite a while, but just so you know, it does come with the head of Sauron there, which looks pretty big and awesome. And that's really all we have for Gimli, but just so you can see some size comparison, here is Legolas now, so you can see how much taller Legolas is compared to Gimli. So that is awesome that they did make Gimli shorter. And then we're going to get Frodo in the next set, so I can bring these back when Frodo comes in, and we can see he should be smaller than Gimli then. But here we've got Legolas now, one of my favorite characters, and of course a lot of people's favorites. I think he looks pretty good, but he has some more issues with looks department overall compared to Gimli. Like Gimli, I didn't see many issues at all, and it's going to be hard for me to be able to show you, but the face on him does not look the best. And so I'm pretty sure they did like a face printing for Orlando Bloom. I think it looks pretty close, but there's a lot of like splotchiness on his face, and I don't think I'll be able to get the camera to show you, but he has like, you know, red there around his lips, which looks like he may have some sort of disease or something. And just overall his face is very splotchy. And then the same with the paint on his hair. The hair has like holes all over it of like where paint didn't go in or something, so it looks a little bit weird there, and it seems like it kind of carried out throughout the body and stuff. So he just looks like he's missing or cracking paint like all over his body, but from a distance you don't really notice it too much, and I think he does look pretty great overall. Of course, looks exactly like Legolas. So he is an elf, so he has the long blonde hair, the elf ears with the little points on him. He has the bluish outfit underneath. You can see the arms up there and the collar up around there, and then the green tunic on over the top, so it's nice leather design here with some details in it, and there up on his shoulders, and it goes down, then has just the lighter green color underneath that hangs all the way down. Nice belt there around his waist, again with more ornamentation around it, and he's got some covering on his forearms since he does use a bow and stuff, gonna have that protection for his forearms. Then he's got some dark brown pants that go all the way down into the boots that pretty much match the same color, again more like shin guard and stuff there with the leather all the way down to the boot parts. And up around to his back we do have his quiver there, so it can hold all the arrows. Nice lighter brown leather straps that go all the way around to the front of him. And then this is the part that really annoys me. He comes with the holder for his two white knives, but he doesn't come with the knives. And so they even have the holders there that are open and go all the way down. You can see the light through them and stuff, but he doesn't come with them. So it's like, what's the point of putting him on here if he doesn't come with them? That's just a super annoying thing about this. I want him to have his two little swords, but he doesn't come with them, and that's just so annoying. But anyways, for his movements, his head there can twist side to side, again with his hair and everything kind of gets in the way. He can look down more than anything, so he just looks down there. And then his shoulders come up 90 degrees and can rotate around. We have a single elbow joint that bends, has the rotation, and then the wrist can twist around and flex back and forth. Ab crunch right in there, as you can see, so he can rock back and forth and twist side to side. He has more of the hips I'm worried about just because they look a little bit weak, and then the stiffness more of his outfit. So you can't really get his legs to move back and forth too much. They just kind of rock back and forth. You can't really get him to move up to 90 degrees though, but they do come out to the side, and there is a bit of a thigh twist up in there. We get the single knee joint that bends up a little bit there, not much at all. So he has very limited movements in this figure altogether, but just bends up that far and then has a rotation. And then we get the foot that flex back and forth and can twist side to side. So as I said, definitely the worst looking figure out of the two, just like with the way his face looks and the hair design stuff. Like I said, it looks like he has paint just flaking off of him all over his entire body, where Gimli seems more solid. It's like they tried to do more stuff to make him look like a little more dirty, or just more looks to him, like especially like like here on the arm and stuff, and it seems like they just went overboard a little too much and didn't make it look the greatest. And then like I said, his movements overall aren't the best, and I have some issues standing him up with like his ankles and stuff. That's annoying. And then again, missing the 2 swords that has the spots for him but doesn't come with them is really annoying. But he doesn't come with those, but as I mentioned, he does come with his bow and arrows. So we get 3 arrows here. So we have 3 arrows that we can stick into the quiver on his back, and so I like that they fit in there nice and easily and stick up there in the back. And then we get a bow as well, which is just a nice brown bow, has some gold all over the handle, and then a string bow part there. So let me get this into his hand. So just like all the other companies that have tried to give figures bows and arrows, this one as well cannot hold a bow and arrow that well. That's probably about the best I can get it to look. So that is very disappointing. So I wish he would have just come with the swords, because we could have just put the swords in his hands, or at least made the figure have much better movements to where he could actually be able to hold a bow and arrow like you're supposed to. So I'm excited to see once a company can actually get figures to pose really good with bows and arrows, because then hopefully more companies will be able to copy that, because I don't think, again, that looks very good at all, unfortunately. So not too great there for Legolas. And then he comes with the pieces for Sauron of the right leg and hand, but again, we won't see him for quite a while. And then it's awesome that he does have the 1 ring there on his finger as well, so that's pretty cool. So there we got our first wave of the Diamond Select Lord of the Rings figures. As in this video, I pointed out a lot of the issues, and I do think there are some issues that they should have thought of, especially like it's crazy that a dwarf has much better movements in his body than an elf does. And then I wish they would have done better with like the holders and the weapons and everything. I wish they would have just put a little bit more time and effort maybe into these figures. I think they look pretty great. I'd still definitely want the entire wave, but I just hope they maybe tweak some stuff with the future figures and make them a little bit better. But let me know what you thought of these figures down in the comments down below, and do you plan on picking these figures up for yourself? But I want to thank you all for watching. If you want to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button down below. But I hope you all stay awesome out there, and I'll see you in our next review.